Today on the 2020 Visions blog, we're talking about the challenge of opening this complex but spellbinding play in such a way that the audience is not only fully engaged from the start, but also immediately understands who the characters are. I'm Maurice Thorogood, 2020 Visions director, and here is the writer, Paddy Gormley.
I don't mind saying that I've learnt a lot from you about engaging successfully with an audience.
I think you're being a bit hard on yourself there. Your writing is superb. There are so many moments in this play that just take my breath away.
I appreciate the compliment, but you know very well that this was a problem play until you came along. As you know, I love the patterns and symmetries, the neat 20-year gaps between the love affairs, the subtle literary, musical references and so on. But I've always been too much inclined to drop the audience in at the deep end and expect them to make sense of it all.
I grant you it's been a challenge.
The love letters helped enormously.
For the benefit of anyone who hasn't heard the love letters that Paddy's referring to, then tune in to episodes 2, 3 and 4 of this series, or to episode 16, when we're chatting about how the letters came about. Now, the letters you wrote between the three pairs of lovers were so good we just had to include them.
The great thing about them was that they could be slotted in anywhere. They were part of the story in the sense that each pair of lovers exchanged letters while they were anticipating their holidays in Venice.
The second act opens with 3 scenes in Venice, going backwards in time. 2000, 1980 and 1960.
So they're part of the story in that sense, and yet they're outside of the story insofar as they're just character sketches.
We both knew at once that the letters between Alec and Belinda should be read
At the start of the play.
at the start of the play, exactly.
Even 60 years after their affair, Alec 80 was obsessed with Belinda, having never overcome the shock of her sudden death.
And so we could be sure that he would have kept the letter from Belinda as one of his greatest treasures, so he could take it out and read it or imagine her reading it to him. He wouldn't have the letter he sent to her, though.
But he could imagine it in the same way that all the past scenes of the play come straight out of Alec 80's imagination.
And the same would be true of the other pair of letters.
Though I can imagine Natasha screwing up his letter to her into a ball and throwing it at him as she chucked him out of her life.
Oh, is that how you see it? Interesting.
It makes perfect sense to me. I altered the script so that Alec 40 and Natasha read their letters to one another in Venice. And I dare say Natasha kept Alec's letter close to her heart, literally.
Now, that's an interesting suggestion. I'll think about that one.
As for the Lucy letters, I put them into the script at the start of her Venice scene with Alec 60. That was perfect, because Alec 80 would take out Lucy's letter and read it, and that would call to mind the unhappiest holiday of his life.
We tried out the revised script at a Farnham Rep play reading session in 2017. The cast was Olivia Busby, Andrew Loudon and Alistair Warren.
And Charlotte Jennings very kindly came to help us with the sound cues.
I know who wrote that, but first, may I read you mine? It's just called Alec. I've a hunch that he's the luckiest man alive. For 20 years, I've stored up all my love, and now my secret hoard has been discovered. You have found the key. Please open me with care, love, empathy. For on my heart I wear the scars of first love gained and lost, the painful marks of a deceiver's false love. Touch my heart, and I will grieve no more. The loss that I have long concealed from idle view is in your gentle hands, and will be healed by loving you.
It was not a very successful evening, though.
No, I fear the audience didn't quite get it. We were still experimenting, and half the problem was we were trying to present the play in a full performance mode, instead of just letting it be read so the audience could take on the story. we tried too hard.
I think I would say we confused them.
Yes.
I licked my wounds for a long time after that. And as usual, I would probably have given up hope of ever getting the play produced if it wasn't for you.
Oh, I wasn't for giving up. The project's too good for that. But there was a long gap. We both had other things going on in our lives, and then suddenly in the spring of 2018, this very year, exciting things began to happen. It's appropriate that this episode of our blog comes just before Christmas. We're nearly at the end of the development story now, and the preview run of 2020 Visions comes just a few weeks into the new year, 2019. We'll be back, as usual, next Friday, the 28th of December, so don't forget to tune in then while we walk you past the final milestones in this development of this amazing play. You're probably busy with your Christmas plans anyway, so I'll keep next week's topic as a nice surprise for you.